Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl, Shri Bad. I've been going for a little while from these YouTube streets. I've been staying more on the real life streets. I've been staying in the bushes. And I haven't posted because I have so many things to talk about, so many things to upload, and I didn't know what to talk about first. Now, shout out to Mind Over Matter TV. I saw a live that he did today. I saw the replay. I wasn't there for the live, and I wish I was. And when I saw his live, I was like, you know what? Bam! I got to talk about it in this manner. So before I get into it, I want to make an apology to Master Fundi. I need y'all to know that Master Fundi is a human being. So, yes, she is capable of getting upset, reacting on that. She is also capable of refraining from saying anything more. All right? I don't need to defend her in any way, shape, or form. And that's not exactly what I'm going to do here. What I'm going to do is explain why I decided to buy sage from Fundi. All right? And we're going to get, and of course, I like to give y'all information. I like to give y'all education so y'all can have discriminative discernment and have your own perception of things, or change your perspective a little bit, shift it a little bit so that you have a better understanding and not be led by ignorance. On Instagram, I follow someone called Lil Native Boy. And Lil Native Boy is a part of the First Nations, formerly known as an American Indian. We don't call them that anymore. And he is very strong in his activism of indigenous cultures from the United States of America, also known as First Nations. So I'm going to put the link to this Instagram post in my description when I'm done with this upload, but I'm going to read it to you anyway. All right? Now, before we get into this, when I first saw this post, I didn't know if I should buy sage from Fundi. Remember, I'm brand new to these YouTube streets, and my spirit took to Fundi. All right? But at that time, I don't know if my money was going to Fundi. But once again, even when I didn't know to be patient and let the universe talk to me, I let it talk to me anyway. So this post actually helped me to make my decision. Before I talk about what's in the post, let me read the caption. The caption says, "Tired of repeating myself, caps, but it must be said. This doesn't only apply to white men, but to anyone who is non-native using white sage." All right? So let me read the slides to you. These came from Twitter. And some random person just put a picture of sage and said, "I love the smell of sage in the morning." Little Native Boy responded, "Reminder that just 40 years ago, it was illegal for natives to practice our culture on our own lands. And white men today get to order stolen and endangered white sage from Amazon to apparently cleanse, in quotation marks, the negative energy in the room that's probs just our ancestors haunting them." That was verbatim. I'm not trying to translate. I'm just going to read. The second slide says, "And before you reach white sage is native to America and not anywhere else, yes, there are a variety of sages all around the world, but this is ours. If you want to go and disrespect your own type of sage, then go do that instead. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk." Next slide. So this next slide, it has a picture of an article that says 400 pounds of endangered sage seized, 4 arrested at North Etiwanda Preserve, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. His response, also, if you are buying some sus-ass sage from Urban Outfitters when it's literally illegally stolen from natives, just as everything else is in this country, do you really think it's going to give you good energy? It has become so normalized to steal from us natives. It's literally what this whole country is founded on. So when we try to educate, please listen. All right? Of course, I like that. So I decided to look at the comments, which I always do. And somebody asked the great question of, grow your own? So let me hit it real quick because nope. Growing your own white sage is still technically stealing if you aren't one of the many tribes who use it. Question your access into indigenous spaces, teachings, culture, traditions, and ask, is this for me? So then someone else asks, is there any alternatives? And he says, sure, buy Cedar. Okay? Someone else talks about African sage as opposed to native sage. And if that's what you want to do, you go ahead. Now, when I read this, oh, my bad. I have to rephrase because I'm sorry. I already bought sage from Fundi Fee. I had already decided to get sage from her. One, because she's black owned. Two, because I knew she grew the sage herself. So that was different than getting sage from Amazon or anything like that. And even though Amazon is way cheaper than Fundi sage, if she's growing it out of her backyard, I live in New York. So I'm not mad at paying extra because in New York, I'd pay extra anyway. I'd get the cheapo white sage for maybe $2, but then something like what Fundi Fee sells, that size, it would be around the same price that she's asking for. And it's not grown out of her backyard. So I actually put up a story on my Instagram page and said, I bought the sage and she grew it herself, but the next time around, I'm getting Cedar. And that's exactly what I did. So her products are unique to her. Many of her products she grows. The loofah, she grows it. A lot of things, you see that. If you follow her page, you can see it. You can see what she's growing. She's not going to grow stones. You wouldn't get stones from her knowing that you can get stones from somewhere else. But when you get stones and crystals, it's all about energy. So if you feel like she got good energy, ain't no problem getting stones from her because the price that she asks for these stones are generally the same, at least in New York City, which is highly expensive regardless. And what I pay for in shipping and handling to her is actually cheaper than what I pay in taxes in New York. And if she has a discount, then guess what? I save money in the taxes. Taxes are gone. So coming from my point of view, it does make sense to go with Fundi because I want to support black business and I want to support black female business. And for me, she's the real deal. I don't know about you. You could try her products. If you don't like it, I would love to hear about it. I haven't heard nothing yet. I haven't heard nobody say, yo, her products are Fugazi and they ain't about that life. Because they are. They are. I'm not going to go into if Fundi Fee is the best or she ain't the best. You already know how I feel about that. I'm talking about the products right now. Because there's certain people out here that want to go on world tours and, you know, go on this bandwagon that she's the worst. She's the worst because she's scamming y'all. She's overcharging y'all. Not for me. Not in New York. And I'm sure if somebody was in California, not for them. And I'm sure if it's for somebody that's ordering that cannot even get any of those products in their area, not for them. She has a legitimate business. And if people decide to donate to her super chat for whatever purpose, that she's promoting, then let that be so. If you heard about this and you heard about that and you heard about that back in the day, go check her videos and see what's popping. Go back a couple of years. That's what I say. You know, that's the happy suggestion that I'm going to give you. You ain't got to follow it. But I will say this. There's a saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I don't think that's true. Because a lot of times, the enemy of your enemy might be your enemy too. And you are forming a dangerous alliance based on the fact that you don't like somebody else. It doesn't take that much energy to put towards somebody that you don't like. If you hate somebody, you had to love something about them in the first place. There had to be some kind of love there. And I'm going to give you an example. I hate rats. I hate mice. But there was one point in time I loved Mickey Mouse. I loved Jerry from Tom and Jerry. But then I had my experience with a real life rat and a real life mouse, and I hate them motherfuckers, right? There had to be a love somewhere. They're animals. They're a product of God's creation. Nature put them there for a reason. I love that. But I hate them motherfuckers. And I'm talking about the real animals, not no people who act like rats. I'm not going there. So once again, before you deem something to be true, please consider the source. And if you want to check back into Fundi Fee and what she's about and see if she's really Fugazi, check back to that other cat too, who's talking that craziness about her. I guarantee you, he's the type of person that will delete certain videos that will put him in a negative light. But unfortunately, people got memories. Okay? So I'm going to go back and continue watching this video from Mind Over Matter TV. Have discernment in why you make a decision. There's nothing wrong with saying, yo, I'm going to buy her products because I like her and that's it. There's another thing if you do research and say, you know what? She's better than Amazon because she grows her own sage. And since she's a black-owned business, you already know off of GP that black-owned businesses are generally more expensive than everybody else. You see, I made it a point 2 years ago to try to have 75% of all my household items be black-owned. And I reached that goal. I had to fall back a little bit for different reasons because, like I said, black-owned companies and products are a little bit more expensive than outside at the store. So if I needed something right away and I didn't feel like waiting, I had to go out there and get it. But I'm going to get back to that. Please believe. So in addition to my yoga breakdowns, navigating these YouTube streets, I'm also going to talk about certain black businesses and support them. So that must mean I'm going to have to learn how to do, edit videos and pop some pictures in there or something like that. So let my first review of a black business be that of Master Fundi Fee. I ain't get no product from her that was Fugazi, that didn't work to my satisfaction or didn't do what it needed to do. I got full explanations on how to use it, when to use it, what you got to do, why it works out. I got my products at a very quick time. Very good turnaround. Especially somebody to New York. So I have no problems. And there's a couple other black businesses and black female local businesses, and when I say local, I mean mom and pop, that I support, and I'm going to get back to supporting them, and I'm going to talk about them. Let's make that a topic. Because since this Nature Boy sector is mostly black, how about we support black businesses. You can try to support black people in their so-called whatevers, right? But make sure they're a real business. Make sure they have a website that you can go back to look up X, Y, and Z. Is their PayPal set up to a business? If not, at least you got the website to go back to. So there's some kind of paper trail or some kind of thing. If you are not satisfied, you can get back to that person. Look at their track record. How long have they been in this business? Because with longevity comes wisdom and experience. So are you going to trust somebody that's been on here for about a year, 2 years, as opposed to 6 years? I mean, the same thing can be asked about me. I've only been on here a couple months. What makes you think that you could trust me? But you're listening, so I must be making some sort of sense or shifting a perception in your mind. Even if I'm not, you're opening yourself up to what I'm saying. And I appreciate you for that. It's about the heart. It's about what your spirit take to at the end of the day. And that has to be involved with your ego to make the proper discriminative discernment. So that's the end of my review, whatever I got to say. I'm sure Master Fundi Fee, in regards to her sage, is very respectful of the traditions of the First Nations and the cultures of the First Nations. I'm sure she has some knowledge of it. If you don't know and I don't know, we can ask her together. And I'm sure if she don't, she'll find out. Okay? So that's it for me. I'm going to come back with another business really soon. And the businesses that I like that are black owned, especially black female owned, the owners are crazy. And I love it because I love the honesty. I love their truth. I respect who they are as people, and I respect them as humans. And I respect the knowledge that they bring. Even if the delivery ain't that great. And I'm not talking about Fundi. I'm talking about 2 other people that I'm thinking of to do a support black business upload on. So please comment, hit a like button, hit a dislike button. It doesn't matter to me. I'm okay. So okay. I just had to speak up on that. And now I feel more comfortable to do my yoga breakdown. All right, that'll be next up. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good night.